Alright, hey guys, so Banjax to Overwatch here. For those who don't know me, I'm a console streamer and I play Genji. I thought I would make a video or sort of a guide to tell you guys about what settings I use, what I think are the most optimal settings for people that play Genji or characters with similar aim styles to him, and how you can change your settings on console to maximize the aim assist and to get good results. I have currently 634 hours on Genji, which isn't the most ever. I've seen people with over 1,000, but I have a lot of hours on him recently, so I think I'm a pretty decent to okay sort of source to go with here. But I have tried out a few different setups in terms of controls. So, starting off with vertical and horizontal sensitivity. Now, usually they should be the same thing. I briefly used a much higher horizontal sensitivity than my vertical sensitivity because my friend was like, hey, if you do this, you'll hit way more headshots because you can't move your crosshair as far in the vertical direction, so you'll be aiming at head height. But that's actually a really bad idea because obviously, you're not going to be always looking face to face with your opponent. You could be on high ground, they could be on high ground. You could be jumping over their head, especially on Genji. It's very bad. So on Genji, you definitely want to have these two sets of the same thing. And I think you definitely want to have them set to 100 because obviously you want to try to have a pretty high, not egregiously high sensitivity in Genji, because you need to be able to dash someone, then turn around and do a 180. However, you also need to be able to aim in just like individual shuriken shots for a person that's like strafing back to front. It's like if your aim is too high, if your sensitivity is too high, you're never going to be able to hit a shot like that. So you need to be able to do quick flicks and have a combination. So how do you maximize that on console? Down to the very bottom of the settings, and we have dual zone aim technique. What does that mean? Okay, we have various aim techniques here. Dual zone means that in your controller, in the joystick for aiming, there's going to be two zones. There's an inner zone and an outer zone. If I move my joystick a little bit, it's going to be in the inner zone, but then if I move it out a lot, it's going to be in the outer zone. In the inner zone, it moves it slower than the outer zone. So it's dual zone in that if I aim it a little bit, it can do some precise adjustments. But if I max out the aiming, so if I go like this fully, then it's going to do a faster turn. So dual zone is good for Genji because it combines these two things that I was talking about earlier, and most people just prefer dual zone anyway because it's good. Okay, so dead zones, right? Dead zones are kind of important because you want to take advantage of precision, and if you have your dead zones set to too high of a value, then it's possible that you could be trying to make tiny adjustments and they don't actually do anything because you're still operating within your dead zone. So you want your dead zone to be this, and if you don't know what dead zone is, it's like the region of your joystick that doesn't detect any input. So if I move my controller like the tiniest bit, it's not going to detect any input if I have like a large dead zone. So what you want out of your dead zones is you have to want to make the inner dead zone and set these two to override, otherwise it's not actually going to change anything. So you set this to override, set this one to override, and then the inner dead zone, make it as small as possible without getting any stick drift. So if I set this too small, you would get stick drift and Genji would start going, or yeah, you know what I mean. Okay. So that's dead zones. If you have a similar setup to what I have here, it should work. But however, depending on what type of controller you have and how bad your controller is, because the thing with stick drift is that every single controller has stick drift. It's just how much do you have. It's like over time using the controller, it happens. This is a relatively new one, so I don't have it that badly. Okay. So legacy movement at aim/aim, just turn that off. I don't know what that is. Swap movement and look sticks, turn that off. I mean, unless you prefer that. I've never heard of that before. Vibration, I would suggest you turn that off because it's distracting, it's weird, it drains the battery on your controller. Unless you like your controller being like whenever you hit a shot. I don't know. It's not for me. But then again, this is subjective. So, you know, up to you. Inverting your controls. No, shouldn't do that unless you want to. Okay, so aim ease in. I have that's set to 0 right now. So basically what that's gonna do is that's gonna start moving your crosshair immediately after you make an input. If you set this to anything other than 0, there's gonna be a little bit of like acceleration that happens from your crosshair. And in my opinion, aim ease in is not useful at all, because I want to get my crosshair from A to B quickly. If someone's doing this strafing all the time, I'm gonna need a with my crosshair, you know what I mean? So that's that. Aim smoothing. Okay, this is important. So if I had to explain how aim smoothing works, I actually am not 100% sure how this works, but I'll tell you that by default, this is set to 100. Now, as you'll see, I have maxed out my horizontal and vertical sensitivity. So you might be thinking, that's the highest you can get. But the way to basically make your sensitivity even faster than this horizontal and vertical sensitivity that we have here is to make use of aim smoothing. Turning down your aim smoothing by a little bit makes your sensitivity a lot faster. And I can show you the difference. So at the moment I have it set to 96, but I will set it to 100 and then hop into practice range and show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so this is how it feels when you're using 100 aim smoothing. Okay, it's alright. I can aim between these butts. However, the main problem I have with this is, keep in mind, this is set to max sensitivity. If I dash this tracer and then turn around, that's too long. By the time I do that, she's blinked, recalled, left the face of the earth. She's been Suzu'd, life gripped, immortality fielded, like, she's had a tea party, like, you know, it's too long. So now, turn this down. Most people say 98. However, and I was actually using 98 for a long time. However, I think 96 is the way to go, because it's just a little bit faster without being too ridiculous. But if you have it lower than 96, that might get a little too tricky to control. Because remember, Genji sensitivity. You want it to be fast, but not too fast. Not too fast. So there we go. As you can see, I can aim between these butts as I could before, but turning around, it's way faster and it's like more snappy. I feel like I have more control if I turn down my aim smoothing. I think the thing about aim smoothing is that when you have inputs with a joystick, the inputs are kind of weird and like jaggy and uneven. So the game has to like put them together into something that's like actually like doesn't hurt your brain. So they like smooth all your inputs to have it, you know, smoother. But if you turn down the smoothing, then it's gonna be slightly closer to the raw inputs that you're putting in. So this is more true to what I'm actually inputting with my joystick, and I think that these settings are quite good to aim with, because you can just do adjustments like this by moving your joystick slightly left to right. There you can do some little adjustments. So notice I'm not fully locking out the joystick at all. I'm just doing little adjustments like this. Okay, so that's what you're gonna need to do. See this? I'm rotating the joystick a little bit around the inner circle of the aim, and I'm getting some very precise control right now. It's not perfect. It's not like the control you're gonna get with a mouse, but it's pretty damn good for a controller. And if you pair that with aim assist, then you're gonna have a very high accuracy. Okay, so you know, it really enables you to do some cool stuff. And then obviously, if you fully lock out your joystick, you can do turns and yada yada. Yeah, so it allows you to do your like one-shot combos on Genji. If I can actually hit them, give me a second here. There we go. You can do stuff like that. A little bit tricky, but you know, doable. And I honestly think that these settings are very good. So now I'm going to talk about aim assist. People have different theories when it comes to aim assist. I have my aim assist strength set to 100. Maximize it, you know. Aim assist is good. You want to get good aim assist for Genji. Why? Is it to help you aim? No. The main reason you want aim assist on Genji is so that when you dash someone and turn around, your aim assist helps you know where they are. So if I dash someone, turn around, and then my aim assist kicks in, they're there. I know where they are. It helps a lot on Genji, actually. It helps them out massively. And I'm more likely, if I dash someone, turn around, and then right-click melee, I'm more likely to hit it if I have a lot of aim assist. So you want that set to 100. Aim assist window size. I have it set to 50 right now. But this is debated in the console Overwatch scene because aim assist can be your worst enemy. Let's say I'm just aiming, blah 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 blah. I'm about to dash somewhere. Okay, I have to dash through this doorway. If I don't, I'm gonna die. Mercy flies by. My aim assist gets pulled to the Mercy. I dash. I miss the doorway. Slam my forehead against the surface. Look like an idiot, and I get shot and I die. Okay, that's not what you want. So, if you turn down the window size from 100, which is the default, down to 50, it can help a lot with this. But some people make it even smaller. The thing that helps you with is only there's a specific low point that you can set it to. I think it's like 10 or something, where you'll only get aim assist if you're like directly over the person that you're aiming at. Now, this can work for certain heroes, but I don't think it works for Genji. It works exceptionally well for Tracer because you want to be using your tracking. You want to lock on a hero and not have your crosshair leave them at all. So it's good for Tracer, but not good for Genji. Why? Because if you turn around, you're not necessarily going to lock right onto them because they could move once you turn around. So if you have a slightly higher aim assist window on Genji, it can help your crosshair be like more likely to be placed on them once you dash behind them, if you know what I'm saying. Because the main thing that happens a lot with Genji is you dash someone, you turn around, and they're not there. But having aim assist kind of helps with that. Kind of reduces the chance of that happening a little bit. So, I think we've just got a few more settings to go through. Aim assist legacy mode. I think turn this off, but then again, I'm not 100% sure what this does. So just leave it off. You want the most current form of aim assist, I feel. Right. So now I'm going to talk about Genji-specific settings. You might not be here for this, so if that's okay, you can click away and like just make sure you subscribe before you do that. But then in terms of Genji-specific settings, like what do I have? So first of all, the crosshair, you know, very important. This is the crosshair that Necros was using for a bit, and I like it, so I use it. But that's not what I'm actually trying to talk about. What I'm actually trying to talk about is this advanced Genji settings. If you come down to hero and HUD, if you set it to Genji, and then go down to these settings. So basically, hold to use deflect. I have that off. So if you have that on, it's you like hold down the button, he'll deflect, you stop holding it, he stops deflecting. Oh yeah, the reason I have that off is because if I want to deflect for a long time, I don't want to be holding the button down. I want just to hold the button down, press the button, right, to deflect, do stuff with my controller. Maybe because a common thing that you have to do is you're backing up as Genji. You use your deflect, you use that to back up a bit, then you turn around and dash. But I don't want to be holding the button that entire time. I just want to put my deflect up so I'm safe, and then I can recalibrate myself, dash away. But some people probably do like hold to deflect. That's personal preference. Automatically climb walls, turn this off. Turn this off. It's annoying. If you're just walking around and Genji starts grabbing at stuff, he starts clinging onto the walls, like it'll kill you. I have no doubt. Advanced. So this stuff is interesting. Hide Dragonblade. Hide deflect cancel text. Hide Dragonblade timer. So I turn these both on. So that means that when I Dragonblade, there's normally a little timer that shows you how long is left in your Dragonblade. I turned it off because I have played a lot of Genji and I know how long Dragonblade lasts. And also, when Dragonblade is about to end, it goes. So there's audio cue, so you don't really need the timer. Hide deflect cancel text. I just don't want text on my screen. I know I can cancel my deflect. Having too much stuff on your screen is annoying, especially with Overwatch. It has a lot of visual clutter anyway. So I turn these both on. Relative aim sensitivity during Dragonblade. Okay. In Blade, you don't need to be as precise as in shotgun mode, because Blade is a big, wide melee attack. You also need to do much more 180s in Blade, because dash, turn around, swing, swing, dash, turn around, swing, swing, dash, get slapped, get charged, get high noon. The enemy uses transcendence. Anyway, sorry. So because of that, you're gonna want to increase your relative aim sensitivity during Dragonblade. Now mine is set to 150%, so that means I'm going to be swinging. I'm gonna have a 50% increase in swing speed. In aim speed, crosshair speed. I'll show you what that looks like in practice range. So this is my normal aim, right? Blah 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 blah. Dragonblade, it's much faster, but I find it very nice to use in game. Like, it's not uncontrollably fast, but it is faster because I can just blade someone and then immediately dash in the opposite direction. Do you see how fast that turnaround was? That's incredible. That's why I get accused of zooming sometimes, because I'll nanoblade their entire team and then someone checks the replay and it's like, oh, he's just like wildly moving his camera around. Like, it looks a little bit like Zim in some ways, but you know, to an untrained eye that doesn't know what Zim actually looks like, it could look like it. So I am a big advocate for this increased sensitivity during Dragonblade. 150% is a lot. Some people would like to increase it by like 20%, and I totally see how that could be good. But for me, I wanted to go big or go home. If I can master it, which I have, I'm pretty consistent with my Dragonblades, then it'll have good results. So let's go. Is that all? I think that's all, ladies and gentlemen. So that is all there is to it in terms of console settings. Now keep in mind that this is not the tried and true optimal setup. This is just what I've found to be good in my quite extensive experience playing Overwatch on console and playing Genji specifically. These settings are good for Genji, but you can adapt them to other heroes if your main is like... I'll say this much. These settings are much better for... like flickshot heroes like Genji and Cass than they are for tracking heroes like Soldier and Tracer. So if you're playing Tracer or you're playing Soldier, Tracer's kind of different, but Soldier specifically, I'm bad at Soldier, and these settings do not work for Soldier. So if you're gonna play Soldier 76, there's things that you need to change. So I would turn down the aim sensitivity if I want to use Soldier 76 effectively, and I would also turn down the aim assist window, because you want to try and like lock your crosshair onto them and then make small adjustments in order to keep your crosshair on them. And you don't need to do that many 180s on Soldier. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.